we up to?
Just a little building.
A little post-Oshkosh building.
Yep.
Back to the grind, putting things together. Horizontal stabilizer. Gonna finish up the rudder this weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna have 2 more full pieces.
More pieces to put in bed. Huh.
Put them in the bed.
Put them in the bed. So at Oshkosh, one of the things we really wanted to do, have a little sit down with Greg Hughes and talk about what makes Vans Aircraft so special and some of the current happenings at Vans. So stay tuned and watch what Greg Hughes has to say. So Greg, I don't know if you realize how much even some of the videos you put up on YouTube so far have actually helped and inspired us during our build. Melissa and I are just now starting our RV-14A build. We made the decision last year at Oshkosh to build.
I've watched your videos. I got it.
And so where we're at, how do we succeed with this?
Wow, that's a big question. So, I mean, for somebody who's getting started?
Yeah.
So I think there's a couple of things that help drive success. A couple of things can either drive or can inhibit success, really. So one of them is get your shop set up, talk to the tool companies about what tools you need, and get what you need right up front. That's important. But order your kits, and it's tough right now to try to get them to arrive about when you need them or a little bit earlier. That's another one. But the things that tend to inhibit people don't usually inhibit them at the beginning, but somewhere after they've been going at it for a little while. So there's a couple of lessons that I know I've learned and other people have learned over time. So one of them is that perfection is the enemy of completion. That's number one. We're not building the space shuttle. We're going to Mars here. We're going to Denver. Right? I mean, it needs to be safe. It needs to be really, really well done. But deburring is not polishing.
Yeah.
Right? It's deburring. So I think there's a tendency, and especially with the availability of the internet, to do sort of like, paralysis by analysis, and that can stop people from getting done. So, it's really good to ask questions, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, order the part and get it back again. Right? I mean, they're pretty inexpensive. Shipping's a little pricey.
It's a little pricey, but
it is what it is. There, we don't control that. But or just get practice material and give it a try. Practice what you need to do before you do it on the final part. But failure in those areas can sometimes frustrate people, but you have to remember that one of the key tenets of experimental aviation is learning. And if you're not making mistakes every now and then, you may not be learning. And so, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to jump in and get it done.
So how did Vans make such a special airplane? I mean, I kind of look at I'll admit, before I got into really joining the Vans family here, it's like stubby, boxy wings, it's like home built. There's no way that thing could fly good. And I flew one. And it's a game changer. It's like this plane flies unlike any other plane I've done. How does Vans make it so special?
I mean, they're an amazing sport airplane, right? So, and it's a combination. So the whole concept of total performance that you hear us talk about is around harmony of controls, and that's part of what makes it fly so special. So relatively light controls, and not just light, they're also very harmonious, right? So the pressures and the amount of control application that you do in your feet and in your hands forward, back, and side to side, it all just kind of clicks and fits. It's almost like the airplane becomes an extension of your body.
Yeah. So I've heard a rumor that supply chain is like kind of challenging right now.
Yeah, that's not a rumor, that's just true.
So, and when we first started this, we're like, oh, did we make a mistake? It's like, are we going to ever get this kit? And then some of your videos came out about, the supply chain is, what Vans is doing to make it better. It's not perfect, but I feel incredibly well supported, and that we're going to get across the finish line as a team.
So I appreciate that feedback. So you're going to get across the finish line. There's no doubt about that. So there was a good year and a half period of time, probably closer to a year and a half period of time, where things were just a mess from a supply chain perspective, manufacturing changes that we've made. So a lot of things happened all at once. You had the whole COVID thing and a bunch of other stuff, supply chain and suppliers. So you have to remember that we make a whole lot of parts.
Right.
We also buy a significant number of key materials and key pre-built components from third-party suppliers. So when those third-party suppliers don't deliver to us,
Yep.
and as far as we know it's coming, it makes it really difficult for us to predict and to be able to know when we can deliver it to you. So that said, so we've changed a lot at Vans in about the last 9 months to a year. So the way I explain to people is that it's really simple. We just changed everything.
Yeah, why not?
Well, fundamentally, we really have changed at least some portion of everything.
Yes.
The batches in which we're manufacturing the kits are now much larger. And you probably heard we have this concept of a train, and so a train goes, one train runs and it has multiple cars on it. Each car represents a kit, and each seat on the train represents a kit type on the car. Each seat on the train represents a customer, right? So there's so many seats on the train for an RV-10 tail kit, for example. We schedule that, and when it's filled up, then those are done. But we know when those batches of kits are going to be done, so we can communicate that to the customer. We never had that before. So prior to a massive surge in sales and combined with a really serious supply chain issue, we had scheduled our building of kits based on historical averages.
Yeah.
Right. Well, historical averages went way out the window.
Yeah, you broke the mold. You're popular.
Completely out the window. Been popular for years and years, but it kind of jumped the shark. Right.
Yeah.
So the whole kit, and not just for us, it was for every kit manufacturer. Right?
Wow.
I mean, everyone's gone through the same thing. Ours is just a little bit of a bigger scale than some of the other ones, but it really is fundamentally the same problem. The good thing is that I know that if we're doing well, then the other kit manufacturers are doing well also, right? If they're doing well, we're doing well. We're an industry, we're a group of small businesses effectively that tend to do well, and things tend to slump off at about the same time. So things are going really well right now. We're making new investments in new airplanes. We're making new investments in the factory. We have our great big huge Trump 5000 punch press that we've been running for the last 3 years. We have a new one coming next month or the month after. It'll be installed, and it's even bigger.
Wow.
So it'll allow us to do even more volume internally, as well as larger parts.
Excellent.
One of the things that we did over the last several months, supply chain wise, was we have this big sort of a bulge in the snake, and whether that continues or not, what we've done is we've partnered with some third-party laser cutting parts manufacturers that are able to do what we do on the punch press, but using laser in the area where we are located in Oregon. That's allowed us to be able to expand our manufacturing capacity to meet the current demand, and to be able to adjust that. We'll be able to leverage that and adjust that up and down over time.
Excellent.
So that gives us some of the flexibility that we may not have had before.
Well, Greg, thank you and everyone at Vans for having our backs and the backs of every other builder that's out there. It's been an amazing journey kind of joining this team, and now we can't be excited to fly.
I appreciate that. Thanks for doing what you do. We're builders too.
Yep.
So, this is what we do. I haven't done much building on my airplane in the last 4 years, but working on that too. Hopefully I can get some time to be able to work on that. So I'm excited to watch y'all build your airplane. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm just looking forward to seeing what you do.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's good to see you.
Awesome. Have a great show.
All right, you too.
Now, one of our favorite people at Vans, Kevin. He has this message for all of us building an RV.
As many years and builders that I've followed, the secret ingredient is enjoy the journey and enjoy the process of the build. If that's the motivation, the builders almost always finish their projects.